Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you. Time for the Obscure Orations mini episode with myself, Tay, and my co host, Dana. Now, we do realize we weren't here last week. Life got in the way.
Happens.
Yeah. By the time that we were like, okay, we could do another episode, it was like Saturday night. So by that point in time, we were like, all right, neither one of us really remembers the episode. I remember it being a slower episode.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. It was basically watching Daemon descent into madness, and it's like snooze
Yeah,
fest.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying this
Oh,
season.
and the kiss.
Oh, yeah, can't forget that. Yeah,
That was
Rhaenyra.
probably the biggest or the
Yeah,
highlight of the whole episode.
kind of makes you wonder if they threw that in there just for that reasoning, where they're like, look, we know this is going to be a slower moving episode because this is going to be 100% story driven and not action driven. So we're going to give you a lesbian makeout scene real quick, like, and then that's it.
Yeah,
It's never going to be touched on again.
which on the okay. I'm on a lot of House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones pages, groups, whatever.
Mm.
So a lot of question was why was that necessary? Why did that happen? Gosh, what's her name? Spills out her childhood trauma basically to Rhaenyra, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the result.
Yep.
And it's like, why? It was pointless. It didn't make any sense at all to the storyline. So it's like a lot of people aren't exactly thrilled that it happened.
Yes. And I mean, I know there's always going to be the ones who aren't going to be thrilled with it from the gay perspective. um but at the same time, like, for just obviously I'd be part of the gay community. The representation.
Not me, no.
I like that you're like, oh wait, no.
I'm just a
Ally.
supporter, ally, whatever you want to call
them. Yeah, you're like, not one of them, I promise.
I'm not. I'm the aunt.
I love it.
I'm the fun aunt.
That's accurate. But like, even from my perspective, I'm like, what was even the point of that? Like, she's been head over heels in love with freaking Daemon since she was a kid, basically. She loved the strong guy. And then all of a sudden they're just like, okay, well, yeah, now that they've bonded, I'm like, I get there's trauma bonding and all that. But unless they're going to do something with it in the story, which, as far as I know, there's nothing about it in the.
You and I trauma bonded. Like, hello. So yeah, it doesn't always have to go down that road, is all I'm saying. Are you good?
I didn't even think of that, but you're right. Oh my god, that was so good. I just like the look on your face for that.
Hey, now wait.
Wait a minute. Wait, reel that back. Time out. It literally to like 2 seconds after you going, oh, not a member, just an aunt. Well, there's trauma bonding. Wait. Oh my god, that was good. That was good for the first good hearty laugh of the day. That was fucking fantastic. So, in some cases, as Dana pointed out, in a lot of cases, trauma bonding does not lead down to the lesbian pathways. In Rhaenyra and I
know
even.
for some, I can't remember her name.
I was just gonna say it's
I
like
can name all the fucking dragons, but I can't remember that woman's name.
They're like, okay, come on, Sea Smoke, let's go get her. Sea Smoke's
you
like,
know who?
It's like, you know the one. Come on, let's get her. But like, that being the probably, like you said, the highlight of last week's episode, and then you get to this week's episode. Now, mind you, I'm going to have to let you lead this a little bit more because all of it's intermingling now. Because I'm watching House of the Dragons while at the same time of watching Game of Thrones, or I should say, rewatching Game of Thrones. So I'm like, oh, that was an epic episode. Like the one that I left off on yesterday before I had to go to work. Was the episode when Daenerys is in the fighting pit and rides Drogon for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So, God, I love that episode. I forgot how much I love that episode. It's so damn good. Ah, so good. But then I was sitting there today. I'm like, oh no, there's crossover. Like,
What happened?
the memories are blending. The memories are blending.
Well, so let's jump to, well, again, Lord, the Tully family, Lord Tully, that young lad, bent his knee, if you will, to Daemon.
Yes, I would say him was fantastic. I remember him and the chills that I got from watching that entire scene.
Yeah. So that was good. So there was a little bit of focus on that in creating allies, right? If we go over to Dragonstone and we see what Rhaenyra's up to, number one, her son Jace needs a good beating because he's a snot-nosed little brat. I would have slapped that smirk off of his face so hard, but you know, child abuse aside, let's continue. Rhaenyra made an announcement that the bastards should be tested to see who can tame a dragon, basically. Because we saw Adam, Corlys's bastard, had tamed Sea Smoke. Correct? Yes.
Yes, because it's Adam. Adam is the one now riding Sea Smoke. Because that's where it opens at. Is it ended with her running and flying onto her dragon, but away with thee, and flying off while
and those
Cody
two
Jace...
on the beach meeting. Yeah. Yep. So one part that after Adam went to Dragonstone and he was in the room talking to Rhaenyra, and she's like, get him a room, blah blah blah. This is when she decides that all the bastards should have a chance to try to tame a dragon.
Yep.
Corlys went to see Adam in his room. So why didn't, and this is just a me question, why didn't Corlys own up to Adam being his bastard? Like, does he not want Rhaenyra to know that he sired two bastard sons? And forgive me, this is not racist at all. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of people of color within the storyline. So
I would say currently, yeah.
Let's kind of put two and two together here, folks. Right?
Well, that's the part, because from what I've seen in the book itself, because I looked into it, it was last week I was looking into it, and that's why I was saying, I swear that in everything that was written from the book, that Adam is actually the elder of the two brothers, and yet in the show, it's said, like, I'm pretty sure at some point in time, Alan says little brother to Adam. I'm like, okay, but I swore that Adam was the older one. We're like, okay, weird switch, but okay, maybe I just misread or I keep misreading.
Or they just keep changing things.
Yeah, they're like, why not? But in the book, it was thought that Adam and Alan were Laenor's bastard offspring. Corlys didn't admit to them being his.
Father of the year.
Yep. I'm going to say, which everyone kind of questioned, because they all knew, as the grandmother of House of Roses says, he was a sword swallower through and through. I love her so much. But
so eloquent with her words.
Yes, I love it. I love her. I just love her, and all of the one-liners they give her. But everyone knew that Laenor did not prefer the opposite sex. So they're all kind of like, that's a little weird that he's got 2 bastard offsprings by some random chick when he likes to be a pillow biter. Again,
Right.
as the
Right.
grandmother says. So Corlys hides it because in the novel, it's Rhaenys is hot-tempered and he's like, oh, I need to hide these from her. So he does.
She's dead now.
Well, I would say exactly. She did. She don't have to be worried about. So in the book, I don't know if they're still going to do it in the show or not, but he actually names Adam his heir because everyone knew. They were like, "Oh yeah, well this is one of the Valyrians. That's why he can ride a dragon and talk to dragons. Yada yada yada." So Corlys ended up naming him heir to Driftmark. And then of course he ends up dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. But such is the way.
So let's go to the procurement of the bastards, if you will.
Yes.
Rhaenyra puts out a crow or a raven or whatever. So they didn't have the internet
sailor.
back then.
Actually, they put out a sailor because they actually did it the older, old-fashioned way, I guess you'd say, because she didn't send a raven. She made it. Remember, Alan takes it and has to give it to a guy he trusts.
So we have pretty much every blonde.
Yes.
in Westeros, woo, headed to Dragonstone to see who could tame the dragon. Now, all these bastards are grouped together, and
yep.
you get that. And again, this is where I was like, oh. Rhaenyra goes to the edge of the stone, the cliff, whatever, the launch pad, if you will.
Yes.
And she calls Vermithor, and just coming into the light, I was like, that is one huge fucking dragon.
That one, and just the way that they shot it, it was one of those scenes that I felt the goosebumps go up my arms.
If I'd had hair on my arms, it would have stood up.
Right? I would say, as Vermithor just comes lumbering in, and you just get like the flickers of light across the face until he's full in there, and she's just standing so calmly. All right, come on, Vermithor, let's go. And then she just leaves them.
Right? Goes up on the balcony where the flames won't hit her.
Well, see, that's the part that I don't understand, is that she, like, why wouldn't you teach a few, like, okay, wait, rewind that slightly. Number one, I'm with my mom. I would have beheaded one of the dragon trainers and been like, listen, you do what I tell you because I'm the queen and I control the dragons. You will teach them some High Valyrian so that when we go out there, they can do something other than just go, no, please don't eat me.
Okay, so the guy that ends up
not burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, the one guy that survives.
I think his name was Hugo. I think that's what I've seen.
Was that it? Okay, so Hugo. So. We'll go with Hugo until we know better. When he was in front of Vermithor, he spoke. Was he speaking High Valyrian?
No, he literally just yelled out in English, or common. I'm assuming they speak English all the way over there.
In the common tongue.
Yeah, I would say literally just. What was funny is that at that moment, when he hadn't yelled yet, I turned to Mama and I was like, if I were him, I'd just be like, ah! And yell back in Vermithor's face and be like, how do you like it? And then not 2 seconds later, all of a sudden, Vermithor's new rider, ah! I'm like, oh, well, see, I was right.
So, of course, I'm that tenacious person that has to look up the genealogy of the dragon. So, so what I found out was that Vermithor once belonged to the old King Jaehaerys, the fourth Targaryen to sit on the throne, on the Iron Throne.
Yes.
She's 100 years old.
Jesus.
100 years old.
She's cranky.
Yeah.
She's crabby. She's definitely
Bitchy.
crabby.
Very bitchy. Basic third largest dragon.
Yeah, because Valyrian, then it's Vhagar, then Vermithor.
Yes. So now at the end of the episode, we see Hugo is on.
I looked up his name.
Vermithor.
It's Hugh.
Hugh. Well,
I added
Hugo,
an
Hugh,
extra
we're
O.
close.
I was going to say I was close.
So Hugh is on Vermithor. Sea Smoke, I believe, is in the back, and we see Rhaenyra. Well, we see Aemond on Vhagar, heading for Dragonstone, and then suddenly he literally puts Vhagar's tail between his legs and turns around, and we see Rhaenyra with the 3 dragons. Do you think Aemon was afraid?
Oh God, yeah.
Do you think so would his thought pattern be that there was no possible way Vhagar was going to kill 3 dragons?
Well, he would have had to kill 4 at that point, because she now has Syraxes, I think is.
Yeah.
No. Is that hers?
Yeah.
She has hers. She now has Vermithor, the second largest after Vhagar. She also has Sea Smoke, which looks to be a decent size.
Right.
And she has, what was the name? You know what? I don't even think they actually really say the name. Yeah, they don't actually say the name of Ulf the White is the name of the other guy, the other bastard who survives by stumbling into the dragon pit, crushes a clutch of eggs, and his dragon just boops him in the chest and goes, I pick you. It's like, oh, okay. So she's now got 4 dragons on her side. And I think, by the sounds of it, her stepdaughter niece, the one who is over in the Airy, I think that's where she was.
Yeah.
She's, by the sounds of it and looks of it, she's going to be claiming the sheep stealer, I think is its name, and it's supposed to be a really big dragon too. So she's going to end up riding that by the looks of it. So she'll end up with a decent amount of dragons by her side. Of course, in the end, we know already from Game of Thrones that they all die, and I'm not looking forward to any aspect of this. Or I'm like,
but as we know, that's more than likely going to come in 3 years when that 3rd season comes out, because they're going to make us wait another 2 years for it.
I'm going to be so mad if they make us wait 2 years again. There's no Rona. No more writer strikes. Everything's been worked out. They should be able to get it all out in another year. That's all I should have to wait.
We'll see. We'll see.
I sincerely hope we don't have to wait 2 more years again. I'm going to be so mad if we do.
Yes, I will. I would be pissed too. So yeah, it's interesting. So it seems like the lines are being drawn for this epic battle to come, because now we have Daemon has got allies. No, although he still thinks he should be his grace, he's his grace consort, whether he likes it or not. He obviously, as we've seen in the last 4 episodes, he's delusional to a very high state.
Delusional Daemon. That is what we shall call him.
Delusional Daemon, yes, delusional Daemon. So it's going to be interesting. I I wonder, and again, this is just my own brain. Nobody has popped this thought into my head. But I wonder, since Rhaenyra sent those boatloads full of food over to
King's Landing.
Thank you. How many of those people might turn the tide and fight for her army?
Well, it's making more sense now because, like I always state, I have not read the book. I've read parts online. I've read the first 100 pages. There's a lot of information to cram into there. But when she gets the city, because like I said, she does sit on the Iron Throne at one point in time for a short period of time.
6 months.
Yes, I would say I thought it was 6 months, but I wasn't going to be dedicated to that answer.
I shall.
For Rhaenyra. She is welcomed into the city by like cheering, like the people are on her side 100%. Quickly change, but they're on her side 100% when she first gets there. They're like, yeah, Rhaenyra, let her in, yeah, get her in. So it makes more sense now after seeing that, number one, she lets lowborn, the bastards, go and claim dragons, which I'm sure has got to put that into like the small folk of, oh my god, she's letting us touch dragons. Maybe there's hope for everyone kind of thing. And then the other thing is her sending all that food, even in the middle of a war. Her being like, here you go. Smart on her part because she's currying favor with them. It's making more sense now why the people would be like, hell yeah, let her in, yo. Let her in. Fling open the gates and let her in. Because I'm going to assume the populations has got to be about the same as what it is, maybe slightly less, but about the same as what it was in Game of Thrones. And Jaime Lannister makes the comment of 500,000 when someone talks about him stabbing the Mad King in the back, and they're like, how many people did you save? A few hundred? And he said, 500,000. And he was like, okay, so if King Landing holds about 500,000, so you figure probably around, at the very least, 300,000 people in there. That's a decent amount of people to have letting you inside, being like, please, come in. Please, enter this way. The crown and everything over there, all for you.
Yeah. So this coming Sunday is the finale, the season finale, to which I'm going to put it forth that when we do our finale episode, we're going to invite V to commiserate with us,
to cry over it.
I'm scared of what's going to come in that episode, only because I think Rhaenyra now has this ego boost with Vermithor.
Well, between that and I don't know if I saw it last night or my mom saw it last night, and I was watching it on her phone, but they were talking about how much now Rhaenyra has several times mentioned the gods have ordained this, the gods have seen fit, the gods this, and it's like, oh no. Oh no, is she heading down towards that spiral? Like, oh, this could go bad for people. I mean, I would have done the same thing. Like, if I were her, I wouldn't have hesitated to go and grab all the bastards and been like, I will elevate you and name you as a Targaryen, take away the dragon seed for your last name, and give you a dragon if you fight for me and you ride for me. If ride or die, bitches. Apparently they die, but they rode and they died. There was no or. But to me, like, it was just, I would have done the same thing, but I would have taught them some High Valyrian before I went, all right, well, we're going to take you down to the dragon pits and we're going to see what Vermithor thinks of you. And be like, oh, Dohaeris Vermithor. And they're all watching going, the whatness? Oh, he's happy. Oh, no, he's mad.
Well, it makes sense that, yeah, you would think that she would do that because not everybody knows High Valerian.
Yeah.
But then again, I wonder if she was, without showing it facially, was she in a slight panic mode to see who could drive that dragon? Yeah, who could fly the?
Just picture you on a dragon.
I said break.
Break, damn it, break.
So yeah, that's one of, again, because like my brain likes to play devil's advocate with itself. So that when you brought that up in our little chat during the episode, and I was like, yeah, what a stupid move. Then my brain's like, but was it? Was it a stupid move? Maybe she's panicking. Maybe she knew Aemon was on his way on Vagar. I don't know.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh no.
So
your brain is smart. Your brain is so smart in the background.
Sometimes.
Like,
sometimes.
I'm so smart. And then other times it's like, did we remember to breathe? Oh no, breathe. Breathe.
What was that? Potato, potato, ching chong, tomato.
Yes.
That's me when I have to think of something important. Potato, potato, ching chong, tomato.
I was going to say, and for me, it's one of those things of, I don't know if you ever watched Ally McBeal back when it was out.
Much to my husband's dismay, no.
It was, I mean, it's not a great show by any means, but it was cute. I'm glad that I watched it. It was entertaining. But there's the one guy who has a stammering problem. So when he stammers, he'll get I'm going to say like disengaged from whatever he's trying to say and be like, Poughkeepsie. And it brings him back because it interrupts the stammer and brings him back to what he was saying originally. So I now, after watching so many episodes of that, because I watched all the seasons back to back, as an adult, now all of a sudden I'll be in the middle going, Poughkeepsie! And my mom knows what I'm doing.
For future podcasts, now you all know.
Yeah, if you suddenly just see me or hear me yell out Poughkeepsie, it's because my train of thought went, here. There were no survivors in the Poughkeepsie again. Knocked it right back on those tracks. But so one of the things I want to talk about is how much I loved the new Lord Tully and how much he reminded me, though I will agree with my mom, Lady Mormont of Bear Island, I think is the name of the place, was hands down my favorite fucking little badass for secondary characters in Game of Thrones. Just with hers, I have 10 men. They're worth 100. We train them good. I'm going into battles. I fucking love that little kid.
Yeah, right. She's 11.
Yeah. Other men are, I'm scared. I don't want to fight. She's like, yeah, sniffling little bitch. I'm going to go. It's like you were called out by a kid and a girl kid at that. So screw you, old guy. But he was like this series version of her. I mean, I'm still with my mom because both of us are like, oh yeah, the lady from Bear Island. It's like, she's number one. But him just putting Daemon into his place as king consort, prince, all those things, and Daemon literally, giving into what this kid had to say was just amazing to see. Like you could see him just
right.
fine.
Without using the word in its actual meaning, you could see the defeat in Daemon.
Yes. Literally, like he quite literally puts his head down at several points where he's just like, okay, like that is the most submissive move I've seen from him. He hasn't even done that to frickin' Rhaenyra, but this twerpy little kid comes up and is like, yeah, you're right. We are going to follow traditions, and the king consort is going to fix it. So he's going to take this man's head. And then just watching the look on I think it was House Bracken. I know it was Bracken and another one fighting, and I can't remember which one was left over.
Neither.
But the guy who was left over with his cockiness of, yeah, I did what the king told me to do, and they're like, king consort, and off with his head, show justice, dispense justice, because what he did wasn't okay. And him just being like, my lord, you're not going to do it. Your grace, your grace. No, like the realization washing over him as he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Like, yeah, well, this is what you get. And just all of the Riverlands all saying to Daemon's face, we don't respect you, we don't like you, we're not fighting for you. But we're gonna be there, not because of you. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So it makes me wonder now for this Sunday's episode, is it gonna be that battle finally between Aemon and Daemon, the one that claims both of them? Just because that's gonna be, it should be another
Yeah,
epic
but
size battle.
but do you so obviously if Aemond is dying, so is Vagar, correct?
Can't remember. Yeah, because he dies with a sword impaled. What is it? Dark Sister, impaled into him and drown and like goes down into the bottom of the sea. And they eventually, when they pull out the skeletal remains to put her on display, they leave Aemon behind and take Vagar's bones and put her into the like mausoleum stuff.
Now, the question that is on everybody's mind for this episode: why the fuck did we have to see Alicent floating in the water? What was the meaning of that? What was the purpose of that?
Again, that was one of those things I don't understand. Like, I get that now she's the Dowager Queen, and they're like, oh yeah, find something else to do with your time. But it's like, why? Why?
Right?
Just why?
And I get it because they didn't have bikinis back then, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking, bitch, gonna drown with all them clothes on.
Well, yeah, but she took off all of her heavy layers.
She took off the heavy stuff, but
so that makes it okay.
She still basically had an underdress on.
Yep. Well, she couldn't be a harlot. She can't show skin. I mean, come on.
No, only to Sir Cole.
Yeah, I was just saying, only to Crispy. Only to Crispy.
But he doesn't want her anymore.
No, they broke up. That's still probably one of my favorite scenes.
Because she aborted his bastard child.
Well, that's what she gets. You sleep around with a knight that you know should not be trusted. And it's like, come on now. Like, Jesus. Just, God, I just hate him. I just hate him so much. But I'm with you. I don't understand. Like, I'm sure there's probably just storytelling to show that she's kind of lost right now. Like, that's my takeaway from
maybe.
It. Is that she's kind of lost because I just saw it somewhere. It might have been a meme that you sent. Very well. Where it was talking about her being a 34-year-old grandma, and the thought kind of struck me. It's like, okay, even if she's between 34 and 40, she's still in the prime of her life. Like, she's not old.
No.
She's young and being told that no, she can't help rule the kingdom according to her middle son. Her eldest son is on death's door, just crying out in pain constantly. And I think it's just to kind of show, like, she's at a loss right now. She doesn't know what to do with her time, because you think about it, outside of when she was younger and just hanging out with Rhaenyra, most of her young life was spent grooming her towards being, okay, let's get you into the queen spot. We got to get you into the court. We
Right.
got to do this. And now she's literally had that spot, had that taste of power, and been told, no, just go learn to
Screw you,
knit.
lady. Go
Go
float
learn
in
to
the
cross
ocean.
stitch. So
Hey!
I wondered how
Don't
long
be
it
picking
took
on
you.
us, cross stitchers.
I wondered how long it took you to get that. Like,
That's it, we're done.
That's okay. Podcast is canceled. We're never doing this again. You quit. You out. So that's kind of my takeaway for that. And now that I thought about it too, what are your thoughts on the Lord of Whispers? Not Varys, because that's the current Game of Thrones. Lord Lars there, and his denying the king pain medicine and telling the maester push him hard, so that he just wanders around to try and get his strength back, and just like Jesus.
That exchange bothered me immensely. He tells the maester, push him, push him, push him. Don't let him give up, and don't give him pain meds.
Mm-hmm.
Make him strong again.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the maesters got Aegon up and I don't know, stumbling around. It's not really walking. Up and stumbling around. Lars comes in and is like, "What are you doing?" Like,
yeah, like, oh well, I didn't mean that hard.
Don't push the two-faced bullshit. Like, I hate that. Like that ground on my bones immensely. And I get it. They're characters. They're characters. Don't get invested. I can't help it. It pissed me off. If I'd been the maester, I would have punched him. But
without a shadow of a doubt, without a freaking shadow.
I really hope that when all is said and done, Lars meets his end a lot like Littlefinger.
I'd like that. I'd be okay with that.
I would love that.
Yeah, there's several, like Lars. I have not liked him since the beginning, and
I'm sorry, him telling the Meister to fuck off, basically, while his crippled ass tried to get Aegon back into bed. What the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
No disrespect for those that can't walk properly. I cannot walk properly.
I was going to say, you are part of them. You're part of that group.
I am part of that group.
But I would say, I am full on with that, where he just, again, the actors in these series portray the characters so well. Like, you think about it, everyone loathed Joffrey. And in this series, people loathe Christian Cole, Lord Lars, whatever the hell his first name is. Aemon, you hate, but then he does his soft parts where soft parts. my immature ass.
And then my brain flashes back to him in the brothel in the fetal position.
Yep, exactly.
Thanks, Tay.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. But you have all the different angles that everyone has, and it's again one of those shows that shows the complexity of people, and just the acting is so freaking well done and so polarizing, where you're like, okay, people again get confused. I'm sure they've probably run into the same thing that the Game of Thrones characters ran into, or actors ran into, when they went walking on the street and people were like, "We fucking hate you, Joffrey."
Right.
And it was like, okay, you do realize Joffrey's in the show. He's an actor. He's not really Joffrey. Like, okay, again, Matt Smith. not truly Daemon. He's not actually going around doing all these horrible things. We promise.
And
But they do such a convincing job.
if you see Matt Smith as Matt Smith, the man's got short, dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
But his face is very unique, and
Yes.
yeah, you would notice it if he had a fucking red afro.
Yes.
You would know who he was.
I was thinking,
yeah,
it's no mistaken.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Like I said, they all do a phenomenal job. The cast is so well done. And it's just I love it. But then I sit there and look at their characters. I'm like, I absolutely hate your fucking character with passion.
You know, they know their craft when you hate what they portray.
Yep. And they do such a good, convincing job of it.
Morning, B.
That you're like, holy shit. I absolutely hate your character with a burning passion of 1,000 suns. You've done a really good job being an actor. Because I am so, like, there's plenty of stuff out there that you can watch and you're like, meh, I enjoyed it, but I'm not invested in it.
Yeah.
And then you see something like this and you're like, oh, I absolutely hate, like, you feel strongly about something happening. Like, people are strongly invested in House of the Dragon. So it's like, yep, you all have done a great job, great writing, great cast, great acting, all of it just phenomenal. Just
yeah. Like, I don't believe anybody on Grey's Anatomy is an actual doctor.
Oh, God, no. Not even for a second. You're just like, sure. Sure you are. Whereas any of these actors would probably do it and be like, oh my God, they're really a doctor. They really are riding dragons.
There really is an Iron Throne.
I knew it. Where is it? I'm ready to go. Let's go. Fight for Khaleesi. So I'm looking forward and saddened and just so many mixed emotions for this upcoming Sunday. And
yeah.
It's just that instant moment. Like, I literally just talked to one of my other best friends. I'll plug her name again. Sonia, also known as Sophia York. She's an author.
Find her, follow her.
Yes, I say she is on the Instagram. She is on the Patreons. And we were talking about fictional, in our cases, fictional crushes that we get on, like, fictional characters that we're reading about or we're seeing TV series about, whatever. And that, like, how much it hurts your heart when the end is coming, and that we both, like, try and delay watching the end or reading the end of it, where it's like, okay, I will read everything up to the last page. This is one of those things where I'm like, I'm not ready for Sunday because it will be the end of the season and I have to then wait. And, like, I know what's ultimately going to happen, but to witness it is different versus hearing about it in Game of Thrones with Joffrey going, right down there is where Rhaenyra's brother gets his dragon to eat her alive and makes her sons watch. It's like, okay, watching that scene is going to suck balls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's good. Sunday is going to be a good episode. Next Wednesday is going to be hell.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We're just going to be, oh.
But yeah, we're gonna ask Veronica to join us. So hopefully she can manage that and we can get that episode out.
Yep, I would say we'll work with her schedule and make it happen
without too many tears.
Yeah. I can already see it now. Well, I think that's good for our recap this week, everyone. Hopefully you've already seen the episode. If not, we try to wait a little bit longer than other people who are like 1 hour out. This is what happened on this episode.
Right?
So hopefully you've all seen it by now. And leave your comments in the comment section. Tell us what you thought about it. What do you expect for next week's episode? How do you feel about the time between each season? Give us a shout, give us a follow, give us a like, and see you on Sunday.
See you Sunday.